Okay, so in the next few videos, I want to introduce sequences. So the structure that I put together for IB was an introduction with some kind of the foundational stuff with sequences, and then an application problem or two, and then on the back, I have some challenges. And so these were problems that I think I made them up. Maybe I begged, borrowed, and stole them from somewhere else. But they're definitely challenging. And so this is not necessarily IB style questioning, but it is using those particular sequences and taking it deeper and making you think, and they're hard. So I would say SL. Feel free to try. If the front overwhelms SL, then don't worry about the back. And I did the same thing for that first one. This one is arithmetic, and then this one is geometric. So I'm going to see, I may have a few videos talking through this, but same idea. So there's the introduction, the application, and then the challenge. HL, I would say spend some time on it. It's not necessarily something that's straight off of an old HL test. But if you can do this, that only makes you a stronger mathematician. Okay, so let's jump in and get started. So I'm going to look at this first one. So they've given us a few terms here, 14, 17, 20, 23. And so what we notice is that we're just adding 3 each time. So 14, 17, 20, 23, and then we have 26, and we have 29. And then they want us to come up with the nth term. Okay, and so we want to be able to come up with a formula so that then we could then find the 100th term. Now, before I do that, I want to talk about the two ways we can have a recursive formula and an explicit formula. Okay, so the recursive formula that always requires 2 things. You have to, one, tell me where to start. And then 2, you have to tell me what to do. I could just say what to do. What to do. Okay, that took too long, sorry. Okay, so on this one, what we're doing here, and we're going to write it this way. We're going to say that, that A sub 1, that's where you start. So if you think about this being the sequence A, then this is your A sub 1, this is your A sub 2, this is your A sub 3, so forth. And what we'll be finding in a minute is A sub n. Okay, so the A sub n is tell me where to start. So on this one, we're starting at 14. That's our very first term of the sequence. And then the next thing you have to do is you have to tell me what to do. You have to tell me how you would get to the nth term. Well, let's think about this for just a second. If I have the first term and the second term and the third term, somewhere out here I have the nth term. Well, the term that comes right before the nth term is going to be, well, let's think about this. The term that comes right before the 10th term is the 9th term. And the term that comes right before the 100th term is the 99th term. So notice I'm subtracting 1 each time. So this is going to be the A sub n minus 1 right here. The term that would come after the nth term is A sub n plus 1. And be careful, I don't like to think that I'm not grading your handwriting, but the way that you write this matters. So A sub n minus 1 means that you take the nth term and then subtract 1. This means A sub n minus 1. That means you're wanting the term before that. So handwriting matters enough, like I need to know that this is all that little subscript. Okay, so this and that, those are not equivalent, and this is what we're talking about right here, where we want the n minus 1th term. I think that's fun to say. The n minus, how would I say this? N minus 1th term. I don't know, whatever, however you spell that. Sorry, my bad, whatever. Okay, so what we're going to do here is notice that I was adding 3, adding 3, adding 3, adding 3 the whole way through. So if I want to find the nth term of this sequence, I have to come to the term right before it, A sub n minus 1, and then add 3. Okay, and this is the recursive formula for this particular sequence. Now, what happens here is this amount that we're adding each time is called our common difference. So if I take one random term, say this one, and subtract away the term right before it, so 26 minus 23, I get 3. Well, that should be the same. What I can say here is that A sub n minus A sub n minus 1. So any random term minus the term right before it is going to always equal our common difference. And that's how we know it's an arithmetic sequence. It looks like arithmetic, but it's arithmetic. So what we have here is we have the general form for this, the general form for an arithmetic, so the general form of a recursive, whatever, is going to be, you have to tell me where to start, so a sub 1 equals whatever that a sub 1 number is. And then a sub n is equal to a sub n minus 1 plus d. So we're going to add that common difference. Okay, so now to come up with our explicit formula, well, let me say one more thing. This is fantastic when you're working with terms that you know, like that are close, that you can just kind of, hang on, I got distracted and I'm looking for a calculator. And I didn't find one that worked. Okay, well, may remind me in the next video. Okay, sorry. So what this does is it's really easy if you're just finding a few of the first few terms. But if I want the 100th term, this is annoying. Because in order to know the 100th term, I have to know the 99th term. And in order to know the 99th term, I have to know the 98th term, etc. So this is not a great way to find some random term. But the explicit formula allows us, we're gonna write a formula a sub n in terms of the term number. Okay, so if you look at this, notice, I need more paper. If I want the 4th term, and let's say I know the 1st term, okay, I have to add my common difference a certain number of times to get from the 1st term to the 4th term. So here's my 1st term, and 1, 2, 3, this is my 4th term. So if I'm here, this is 23 is equal to 14 plus, well, how many times so this is the term that I wanted, and this is the term where I am. Okay, I had to add my common difference. I had to add it 1, 2, 3 times. Okay, so this is going to be plus 3 times the common difference. Now, I already know what my common difference is, but if I didn't, then what I could do is I could just solve this equation. Subtract 14, and I'm at 9 is equal to 3d. Therefore, my common difference is 3. Okay, so this is if I want the 4th term and I'm at the 1st term, I would have to add the common difference 3 times. If I'm at the nth term, I lied. If I want the nth term and I'm at the 1st term, then what I have to do, well, that's what we need to figure out. We're going to figure out what we're going to add. Let's do another one leading up to it. Let's say I want the 100th term, and I'm at the 1st term. Nope, not yet. Let me do this. Say I want the 10th term, and I'm at the 1st term. I'm adding something to my common input. Okay, sorry. I don't like these like fake little equations where I say 8 sub 100 equals a sub 1. That's not true. That's a d. Okay, so what I have here, if I want the 10th term, so I have the 1st term, 2nd term, 3rd term, 4th term, 5th term, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm so sorry. Okay, there we go. So what I've done is I've had to add it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times to get there. So to get to the 10th term, I'm at the 1st term, I have to add my common difference 9 times. If I want the 100th term and I'm at the 1st term, I have to add my common difference 99 times. So if I want the nth term and I know my 1st term, then I can add my common difference n minus 1 times. Okay? So back over here to this original situation, my 1st term was 14 plus n minus 1 times my common difference is 3. So my explicit formula, a sub n is equal to, I can say 14 plus 3n minus 3. A sub n is equal to 3n plus 11. I am okay if you leave it here as long as your parentheses are fine. And I like this, though, because then you can see that it's linear. This matches y equals mx plus b. And you can see that my common difference right there is also the slope. So I think this is too long for the first video. Well, long enough for the first video. So go find the second video. We'll talk through a little bit more of this. I think the rest of it should be pretty straightforward based on what I have in this video. But go check out the next one.